Hey guys, Fallonite here. I know I've been out lately. School's kind of annoying and it gets in the way of recording and everything else, but I had some time today and I'm working on something soon, by the way. There's going to be more content coming. I hope you like it. I've been working on it for a while. But anyway, so I've been thinking recently about, I play Skyrim. My series on YouTube, it kind of ended abruptly because mods are lovely and everything. But I wanted to talk about why I got into Skyrim so much and why I became such a Bethesda Games fan in general. Not just Elder Scrolls, mind you. Fallout. I don't have the new Doom, but from the looks of it, it looks really fun, so I'd give it a try. And it started off when I was a little kid. I'm just gonna hop right into the story here. My grandparents live states away. We only ever get to see them maybe once during Christmas, and maybe once in the summer if we feel like going down. But that's about it. We don't interact with them much. But when I was young, my aunt, she lived there at the time. I don't think she lives there anymore. I don't know. She might. I don't know. We don't. I hate to say it, but we don't talk that much. Anyway, I believe her first husband, I think, either it was his or it was his son's, because she married him and he had a son already, so she kind of got him. Anyway, he had the original Xbox, not the Xbox 360, the original Xbox, or I guess you can call it the Direct Xbox, because that's what it was called in the prototype stages, but I'm just going to call it the original Xbox. But he had the original Xbox, and he had a fair amount of games. I don't know, like 10, 15, I don't know. But at the time, I would go over there, and he had, I think it was Star Wars Clone Wars or some game or whatever. It was some Star Wars game, but I played the death out of that game, the entire time. And I hate to say it because I basically spent my entire time there. I didn't interact with family much then, but before I played that game to death during my 10-day visit there or something. And it was fun. Nothing wrong with that. And before that, the only gaming experience I'd had, I don't know if my dad had a PS2 or not. Yeah, I think he did. My dad had a PS2, even though he barely touched it. And then I had a DS and stuff because I was a little kid. DSs were fun then. But yeah, no, that's my gaming experience up until that point, and I was blown away because, for one thing, the games looked good, and second of all, I don't know, just the Xbox controller and everything, the way everything felt in the hand. I don't know, and I hate to be judging consoles purely on the controller, and I'm not. I do prefer the Xbox controller designed by a long shot. I'm not going to sit here and deny that. But I don't know, it was just a refreshing change of pace. Games actually looked good. But that was the only game I touched there. So, fast forward, I don't know, 5 years? Maybe 7 or 8? I don't know. This happened when I was maybe 9 or 10. So, it was quite a while ago. I might have been older than that, 11 or 12. I don't know. It was at least 5 years ago, if not. Yeah, that's right. It was right around the time Skyrim came out, and everybody was all hyped for Skyrim. Of course, I didn't know this, because back then my parents, limited access to my internet, because, they were afraid of the internet and everything, which there's nothing wrong with. These days, 5-year-olds get on the internet, and it's I feel like there should be a age limit, Not they don't need to be having internet when they're as soon as they're born, if you get my point. Anyway, but so I had no idea about new games. I never realized how much better the console. I wanted one because it's the new thing. Everybody wants the new thing, but I never realized what the actual benefits was of getting an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3 or whatever it was. So me sitting there with my little old just DS, playing DS games, etc. Well, one day, and I'm not even sure if it might have been a Christmas gift, I don't know, but I don't even think it was. I think it was just something random one day. Like, there was no warning. I don't think, unless my parents knew about it. They might have, I don't know. But there was no warning, and one day in the mail there was this huge box. And keep in mind, this was a few years after my aunt and her first husband ended up not working out. So somehow, well, I'll save that detail for later. Anyway, so, and my mom, I think my parents did know about it, now that I think about it, because, like, they made a whole big production about opening it. Like, they sat me down and, like, gently handed me the box, and, like, with intense stares and everything else. I don't think we recorded it. We rarely record, like, anything like gift openings. I don't think we have any actual recordings of me opening, like, a big gift or on my birthday or anything. We just never did that. I don't think that's just something that really felt too important to us. So, I opened this box, and inside is the original Xbox, the same one that my aunt's first husband had, or her first husband's son. I don't know who had it. Again, I'm just gonna say it's her first husband's. But inside there was the Xbox, all the controllers, and every single game that he ever had. And that, keep in mind, that included some really good games. Like, I remember Halo Combat Evolved was in there, Halo 2 was in there, Morrowind was in there. That's what I'm getting at. That's where the story's going. And then that Star Wars game was in there, which I played to death. So, like, I didn't even care about any of the other ones. I just cared about that one. But eventually, I actually looked at all the other games, and keep in mind, this was like 2 or 3 weeks later, so, like, I had already, like, enjoyed all the fun Star Wars game experiences on there. I mean, I didn't have anything else to do. So, I looked at the rest of the games, and my friend was here with me at the time, because we were looking for something to do as well, I think. I don't think we were bored that day or something. So I showed him my new Xbox and, like, all the games, and he looked through the games, and he recognized Elder Scrolls. He didn't recognize Morrowind or the third one, because he had internet at the time. His parents felt he was old enough to have internet, so he knew about everything. And he had heard about Skyrim and how great it was, and it was the 5th game in the Elder Scrolls series. Well, he looked at Elder Scrolls, and he saw Elder Scrolls. He was like, "Ooh, Skyrim!" So, I mean, we didn't know any better. We were just kids, and I don't think he made the connect. He didn't look at the rest of the thing, I guess, because he was so excited. And so we popped it in, and, like, I hate to admit it, but whenever I first looked at it, I saw Elder Scrolls, and I thought it was some kind of weird, like, puzzle game. Like, I didn't know what the Elder Scrolls was. I had no idea what the series was about. I didn't know what the game was. So, but we put it in, and we get to the cutscene, and you'd seen it earlier. Well, no, you didn't either, because I didn't start recording until after the intro. Okay. Anyway, so we get to the cutscene, and where you're in the boat and everything, and, like, you walk out. Well, we walk out onto the boat, onto the actual surface of the boat, and our jaws just dropped. I mean, we looked around, and there was like, everything. There was detail. I mean, we had, like, an ocean to the right side. We had this, like, glorious town. And keep in mind, I have a graphics mod on this installation for the video you're seeing. The graphics for the game at the time, this was what, 2001, 2002, I think? So, the graphics were a lot worse than you actually see on the screen. But it was still just stunning to us at the time. I mean, everything looked absolutely perfect. So, we get in the thing, and, I mean, at this point, he's regained his composure. I'm still looking around, and I'm like, oh my god. So somehow or the other, he sneaks the controller away from me, and he makes his own character, and he goes about his thing. And then, like, he has to leave, I don't know, like, half an hour later. So he leaves me with that. And then, I think I was in middle school at the time, I think. I was in middle school. I was in, like, 6th grade. 6th or 7th, I don't know. Yeah, it was 6th. So eventually, like, I had no idea what I was doing because he created the character and everything. He'd started off for me, so I'm like, okay, let me start over. So I started over. I made my own character. I actually understood what was happening, and then I let myself loose on the world. Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't realize there was a giant bug that took you to the town that you were going to. So to me, I was like, this is amazing. I mean, keep in mind, the best game I had experienced to up until that point, like the most detailed game I had experienced, was like, there was this open world Transformers game that I played on the DS, and I played that thing to death. Like, every time, I didn't even play most of my other games, I just played that. So, and that was the only open world game I really had, because like, you could just be a Transformer and just drive or fly around or whatever your car is. I don't know. But Elder Scrolls really was just Morrowind specifically, it really opened me up to like gaming in general, because at the time my experience was just with like DS kiddie games and like the Lego games on the PS2, and that was about it. So Morrowind really opened me up into modern gaming. I mean, and keep in mind, I was playing like a game that was already 10 years out of date whenever I first found it. But so yeah, I mean, Morrowind really defined what gaming was to me. I mean, games looked like this, games felt like this, games had actual stories. I mean, the story, oh my god, the story was the most amazing thing. I mean, I couldn't stop playing purely because of the story. I mean, and nowadays it's like, go do this, find this, clear out this dungeon, whatever. But I had never experienced anything like it before. I mean, it totally changed me. And this, I mean, Oblivion and Skyrim were out at the time, but I had no idea what those were. So Morrowind for me was the game that turned me into who I was today. And on the original and keep in mind, there was no mods on this, so the graphics looked about as 2002 as you could get. 2001. I don't know when that came out. And this was the Game of the Year edition too. I forgot to mention that. So he had bought the Game of the Year edition. So he had all the expansions and DLC and everything else. So the story captivated me, because nothing had ever done that for me before. I never had a world like that. So the point of this video, I just now sitting here thinking, I probably forgot to actually mention the whole point. Morrowind was, and will be forever my favorite Elder Scrolls game, because it changed me. It made me look at gaming in an entirely new way. I got Skyrim after that, and then I got Oblivion like a couple days later, because like the Steam sale started like a day after I got Skyrim, so I figured I might as well get Oblivion too. Skyrim, I will admit, it has much better visuals. The gameplay, I mean, and Morrowind to me now, it hasn't. I hate to say it, but after playing Skyrim and Oblivion both, because I took a break from Morrowind because I wanted to experience the stories of those, but Skyrim and Oblivion like partially ruined me to vanilla Morrowind specifically. Like, if I hadn't have installed the mod that I did, where the graphics mods, and then I had like a walking and running speed mod, and then I had like a mod that gets rid of that luck hit system so that you actually hit the person the first time, because that to me now it seems ridiculous. Back then it was like, oh, this is so revolutionary, but now it's just like, why? I mean, I'm swinging my sword, just hit them. It's not like I'm missing. So but Morrowind to me just it captivated me. I'm just gonna say that. Skyrim, it did a lot, believe me, and Oblivion too. They both, and personally, Oblivion even felt more open than Skyrim did. It felt more like Morrowind, which I guess kind of makes sense because it came right after Morrowind. But Skyrim is my second favorite, just because of like the dual wielding mechanic, absolutely brilliant. Um, they just introduced a ton of new stuff that made it brilliant to me. But Morrowind will always be my favorite game in the Elder Scrolls series because it I hate to keep doing this whole cliche thing, but it did. It changed me. I look at gaming now in a totally different way than I did 5 years ago whenever I first got it on Xbox. So, Morrowind is forever my favorite game. It will always be the best game, period, that I've ever played, because the memories, the experience has changed me. And I'm not sponsored by these people. I really wish I was, but there's people out there, I forget, like the TESRenewal project or something. They're trying to like make Skyrim and have like Morrowind's story and setting and character. They're basically porting Morrowind into Skyrim's engine. And then I believe they're doing it for Oblivion too, and that's come a lot farther away than you, because like that's actually a full game. Like they say it's still in beta, but you can actually still play the full game. Like it looks weird because like whenever you talk to a character, like their mouths are like invisible, or their voices are invisible, because like that's the major thing they need to do now. Like I think they're getting like voice actors or whatever to go play these people so they can actually get voice acting in it and actually be a modern Elder Scrolls game, but it's Morrowind. So I'll leave a link down to their website because I really believe in what they're doing, because whenever this project is finished, and keep in mind it's going to be years before it's 100% done, but whenever it's finished, it'll be like the most beautiful thing, because again, as I've said, Skyrim and Oblivion's engines were so much better than Morrowind's that now whenever I go back to play vanilla Morrowind, I can't do it. Like it's not fun unless I put like graphics mod. I mean, well, graphics mods can be forgiven. I mean, graphics, I'm not the type of person that like demands graphics or anything. Like as long as I get like high settings in most games, then I'm fine. Like I don't need like 16 times anti-aliasing and all that jazz and stuff. Like as long as the game looks half decent, then I'm fine. But the luck system, where like if you swing your sword you only get like a 5% chance of hitting it, that's dumb. Now that I think about it, or now that I've played the other games and realized it, because it's a dumb system. Like if you're stabbing and your sword appears on screen to hit them, then you hit them. They're the enemy, I guess I should say. So, but I wanted to make this video because Morrowind will always have a place in, like, I guess I don't want to be like corny or something, but it always has a place in my heart as the best game that I have ever played. Yes, it's dated. Yes, it hasn't aged that well. I mean, but keep in mind, 10 years ago, it aged very well. Because, I mean, yes, I hadn't played any that was like the most advanced game I'd ever played at the time. But if it can convey that sense of amazement 10 years after it was made, then I could call that aging well. But after playing all the other games, I'd have to have like a couple mods to tweak it to like actually make it playable. But it's still the best game I've ever played. I can't stress that enough. Like, if you put a gun to my head and tell me to pick through 3 games, if Morrowind is in that 3 game list, then it will win every single time. I mean, if Skyrim, Oblivion, and Morrowind are in that list, Morrowind. If, I don't know, Rocket League and, well, I don't want to say Star Wars Battlefront, but I can't really think of anything else right now. Then Morrowind would obviously win by a long shot, especially against Battlefront. Well, okay. I'm not going to hate against Battlefront, it's just EA's business tactics that drive me crazy about it. With rage. Yeah, so Morrowind is my favorite game ever, and it's my favorite Elder Scrolls game. And that's the story of my discovery, and how I discovered Morrowind, and by extension Elder Scrolls, and then eventually Fallout. So, yeah, if you guys like this content, leave a like and hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for my future project. That'll be coming out, I don't know, I want to say a few weeks, because it's taking a while to put together, a lot longer than I thought, but it's gonna happen. So, thank you guys for all your support, and I'll see you in the next one.
Konnichiwa.